Rodrygo to Manchester United. Everything you need to know about this massive transfer saga. Welcome back to United Daily Updates, your most trusted source for everything Manchester United. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel yet, make sure you hit that subscribe button right now. We bring you the latest news, transfer updates, match analysis, and everything Red Devils every single day. You won't find more dedicated United coverage anywhere else, so join our growing family of passionate supporters today. Introduction. A transfer that could change everything. Imagine this. Manchester United walking out at Old Trafford next season with a Brazilian superstar wearing the famous red shirt. A player who has won 13 trophies before turning 25. A player who has shared the dressing room with some of the greatest footballers on the planet. A player who knows what it takes to win at the highest level. That player is Rodrygo Goes, and right now, Manchester United are seriously interested in bringing him to the theatre of dreams. This is not just another transfer rumour that will fade away in a few days. This is a genuine possibility that could reshape our attack for years to come. The question is, can United pull it off? Will Real Madrid let him go? And most importantly, is he the right player for what we need? In this detailed analysis, we are going to break down everything you need to know about the potential Rodrygo transfer. We will look at why Real Madrid might sell him, why Manchester United want him, what he would bring to our team, the challenges involved, and whether this deal makes sense for everyone involved. So grab a cup of tea, get comfortable, and let us dive deep into one of the most exciting transfer stories of the year. Who is Rodrygo Goes? Before we talk about the transfer itself, let us understand who Rodrygo actually is. Because if you are going to get excited about a player coming to United, you need to know exactly what you are getting. Rodrygo Silva de Goes was born on January 9, 2001, in Osasco, Brazil. He is currently 24 years old, which means he is entering what should be the prime years of his career. At 24, a footballer typically has plenty of experience but also has their best years ahead of them. This is the perfect age for Manchester United to bring in a top talent. He started his professional career at Santos, the same club that produced legends like Pelé, Neymar, and Robinho. That tells you something about the quality of player Santos develops. Rodrygo was not just any prospect at Santos. He was considered one of the brightest young talents in Brazilian football. Real Madrid noticed his talent early and signed him in 2019 when he was just 18 years old. Think about that for a moment. Real Madrid, one of the biggest clubs in the world, decided to spend serious money on a teenager from Brazil. They saw something special in him. Since joining Real Madrid in 2019, Rodrygo has been part of an incredibly successful period at the club. He has won 13 trophies in just over 5 years. Let that sink in. 13 trophies. That includes multiple Champions League titles, La Liga titles, and various other competitions. This is not a player who is used to losing. This is not a player who crumbles under pressure. This is a player who has consistently performed on the biggest stages in world football. What kind of player is Rodrygo? Now let us talk about what Rodrygo actually does on the pitch. What makes him special? What would he bring to Manchester United? Rodrygo is primarily a winger who can play on either side of the attack. He is naturally right-footed but has developed the ability to play on the left wing as well. This versatility is extremely valuable in modern football. Managers love players who can adapt to different positions and situations. His main strengths include his pace, his technical ability, and his intelligence on the ball. He is quick enough to beat defenders with pure speed, but he is also smart enough to know when to slow down, when to pass, and when to take his shot. That combination of physical and mental attributes is what separates good wingers from great ones. One thing that stands out about Rodrygo is his composure in big moments. He has scored crucial goals in Champions League semi-finals and finals. When the pressure is at its highest, he does not hide. He steps up. That is exactly the kind of mentality Manchester United need in their squad. His technical skills are excellent. He can dribble past defenders, he can deliver crosses, he can cut inside and shoot, and he can link up with teammates in tight spaces. He is not a one-dimensional player who only knows how to run fast and kick the ball. He has a complete game. This season, Rodrygo has registered 23 goal contributions in 50 appearances for Real Madrid. That includes both goals and assists. Now, some people might say that is not an incredible number, and they would have a point. But context matters here. At Real Madrid, Rodrygo is often competing for playing time with some of the best attackers in world football. He is not always the first-choice starter. He has to share minutes with players like Vinicius Jr., who is considered one of the best wingers on the planet right now. Despite that competition, Rodrygo still manages to contribute regularly. Imagine what he could do at Manchester United, where he might have a more central role in the team. where the attack could be built around him rather than him being a rotation option. That is an exciting thought for any United fan. Why is Real Madrid willing to sell him? This is the big question that many people are asking. If Rodrygo is so good, if he has won so much, if he is still young, why would Real Madrid even consider selling him? The answer is complicated, but it comes down to a few key factors. First, Real Madrid have an embarrassment of riches in their attacking positions. They have Vinicius Jr., who is untouchable. They have Kylian Mbappé, who they signed as a free agent and who is one of the biggest stars in world football. They have other talented young players coming through their system. They have options. When you have that many quality players competing for limited positions, something has to give. Not everyone can play every game. Not everyone can be happy with their role. Tough decisions need to be made. Second, Real Madrid are business as much as they are football club. They know that Rodrygo has significant market value. They know that top clubs across Europe would be interested in signing him. They know that if they are going to sell him, now is probably the right time to get maximum value. Rodrygo is 24 years old and has proven himself at the highest level. His transfer value is probably at its peak right now. If Real Madrid wait another 2 or 3 years, he will be older, and his value might decrease. From a business perspective, selling now makes sense if they have decided they do not see him as a long-term starter. Third, and this is crucial, Xabi Alonso has just been appointed as the new Real Madrid manager. Alonso officially started his role on June 1, 2025. He is coming in with his own ideas, his own philosophy, and his own preferences for the type of players he wants. According to reports, Rodrygo is planning to meet with Xabi Alonso to discuss his future at the club. He wants to know where he stands. He wants to know if he will have a regular place in the team. Specifically, he wants to play on the left side of the attack, which is currently occupied by Vinicius Jr. Here is the problem. Vinicius Jr. is arguably Real Madrid's best player right now. He is not getting dropped. He is not moving positions. That left wing spot is his. So if Rodrygo insists on playing there, he is setting himself up for disappointment. This creates a difficult situation for everyone involved. Rodrygo is too good to be a permanent substitute. He is at an age where he needs regular playing time to continue his development. He needs to feel important to his team. If Real Madrid cannot guarantee him that role, then a transfer might be the best solution for everyone. Real Madrid have set their asking price at €100 million. That is roughly £85 million. It is a huge amount of money, but it reflects how highly they value Rodrygo. They are not going to give him away cheaply. If a club wants him, they are going to have to pay serious money. That price tag also sends a message. It says that Real Madrid are not desperate to sell. They are happy to keep Rodrygo if they do not get their asking price. But if someone meets that valuation, they are willing to do business. Why does Manchester United want Rodrygo? Now let us flip the script and talk about why Manchester United are interested in bringing Rodrygo to Old Trafford. The answer is pretty straightforward when you look at our squad and our recent performances. Manchester United need quality in attack. We need players who can create chances, score goals, and change games. We need winners who know what it takes to succeed at the highest level. Look at our attacking options right now. We have some talented players, but do we have enough quality and depth to compete with the best teams in England and Europe? That is debatable. We need wingers who can consistently beat defenders, create chances for teammates, and contribute goals. We need players who can perform in big games when the pressure is on. We need players who have won trophies and know what that winning mentality feels like. Rodrygo ticks all those boxes. He is young enough to be part of our long-term plans but experienced enough to make an immediate impact. He has played at the highest level and succeeded. He has won multiple Champions League titles. He knows what it takes to win. Manchester United are reportedly willing to offer €80 million for Rodrygo. That is about £68 million. It is a significant investment, but it is slightly below Real Madrid's asking price of €100 million. This creates an interesting negotiation. United are showing serious interest and are willing to spend big money, but they are not quite meeting Real Madrid's valuation. This is where the negotiations get interesting. Can United convince Real Madrid to lower their price? Can they structure the deal in a way that works for both clubs? From United's perspective, spending €80 million on Rodrygo makes sense for several reasons. First, he is proven quality. There is no gamble here. You know exactly what you are getting. He has done it at Real Madrid. He has done it in the Champions League. There is no question about whether he can perform at the top level. Second, He is still young with his best years ahead of him. If we sign him now, we could potentially have him for the next 6 or 7 years of his prime. That is excellent value for money when you think about it long term. Third, he fits the profile of player that modern Manchester United should be targeting. He is technical, he is fast, he is intelligent, and he has a winning mentality. These are exactly the qualities we need to get back to the top of English and European football. What would Rodrygo bring to Manchester United? Let us paint a picture of what Manchester United would look like with Rodrygo in the team. What would actually change? How would he improve us? First and foremost, he would give us genuine quality on the wings. Having a player of his caliber out wide would transform our attacking play. Defenders would have to respect his pace and ability, which would create more space for other players. Imagine our attack with Rodrygo on one wing. He is cutting inside, beating defenders, creating chances. Suddenly, the opposition defense is stretched. They cannot just focus on shutting down 1 or 2 players. They have to worry about multiple threats. His versatility would be incredibly valuable. He can play on the right wing, he can play on the left wing, and if needed, he can even play as a central attacking midfielder. This gives the manager options. It means we can change our system during games without making substitutions. It means we can adapt to different opponents. His experience in big games would be massive for us. How many players in our current squad have won multiple Champions League titles? How many have scored in Champions League semi-finals and finals? Not many. Rodrygo has done both. That experience and that confidence in big moments would rub off on other players in the squad. His goal contributions would obviously help us. 23 goal contributions in a season where he was not always a regular starter is solid. Give him a starting position and build the team around him, and those numbers could easily increase to 30 or 35 goal contributions per season. That is the kind of output we need from our attackers. But beyond the numbers, Rodrygo would bring something intangible. He would bring a winning mentality. He would bring standards. He would bring an understanding of what it takes to be successful at the very top level. These things matter more than people realize. When you have players in your squad who have won everything, it changes the culture in the dressing room. It raises expectations. It makes everyone around them better. This is what Manchester United have been missing in recent years. Think about the great United teams of the past. They always had players who knew how to win, who refused to accept defeat, who demanded excellence from themselves and their teammates. We need to get back to that mentality, and signing players like Rodrygo is how you do it. The challenges of this transfer. Of course, no transfer is simple, and this one comes with its fair share of challenges. Let us be realistic about what could prevent this deal from happening. The biggest challenge is obviously the price. Real Madrid want 100 million euros. Manchester United are offering 80 million euros. That is a 20 million euro gap. In the world of football transfers, that is a significant difference. Can United convince Real Madrid to lower their price? Maybe. If Real Madrid decide they definitely want to sell, if Rodrygo pushes for the move, if they need to make space in their squad for other signings, then maybe they would accept a lower offer. But right now, they are holding firm at 100 million. Can United increase their offer? That is the other option. Maybe they start at 80 million knowing they will eventually need to pay more. Maybe they can structure the deal with add-ons and bonuses that make it more attractive to Real Madrid. Maybe they can include a sell-on clause or other creative solutions. But here is the thing. Manchester United have to be careful about overpaying. We have a history of spending big money on players and then regretting it. We need to make smart decisions, not desperate ones. If Real Madrid are asking too much, United might decide to walk away and look at other options. The second challenge is competition from other clubs. Manchester United are not the only team interested in Rodrygo. According to reports, Arsenal, Liverpool, Manchester City, and Chelsea have all shown interest. That is pretty much every top English club except Tottenham. This makes sense. Rodrygo is exactly the type of player every top club wants. Young, talented, proven, versatile. If there is a genuine chance to sign him, everyone is going to be interested. This competition could drive up the price even further. If multiple clubs are bidding for Rodrygo, Real Madrid have no reason to lower their asking price. They can just wait for the best offer. This puts United in a difficult position. United need to convince Rodrygo that Old Trafford is the right place for him. They need to sell him on the project, on the vision, on what the club is trying to build. Money alone might not be enough if other clubs are offering similar packages. The third challenge is Rodrygo himself. Does he actually want to leave Real Madrid? Does he want to come to Manchester United specifically? These are important questions that we do not have clear answers to yet. Rodrygo has been at Real Madrid since he was 18 years old. He has won everything there. He has friends there. He is comfortable there. Leaving that security to join a new club in a new country is a big decision. Not every player is willing to make that leap, especially when they are already at one of the biggest clubs in the world. However, playing time is a powerful motivator. If Rodrygo feels he is not going to get regular minutes at Real Madrid under Xabi Alonso, then he might be more open to a move. If he looks at Manchester United and sees an opportunity to be a key player rather than a rotation option, that could convince him. The fourth challenge is timing. The summer transfer window is when most big deals get done, but negotiations take time. Medical checks take time. Personal terms take time. Getting work permits takes time. There are a lot of moving parts in any major transfer. If this deal is going to happen, it needs to happen relatively quickly. Manchester United will want their new signings in place for pre-season training. They will want time for new players to integrate into the squad before the season starts. Dragging out negotiations until late August is not ideal for anyone. What this transfer means for Manchester United's future. Let us think bigger picture for a moment. If Manchester United do manage to sign Rodrygo, what does that mean for the club going forward? First, it sends a message to the football world. It says that Manchester United are serious about getting back to the top. It says we are willing to spend big money on top players. It says we can still attract world-class talent to Old Trafford. That message matters. For too long, there has been a narrative that the best players do not want to come to Manchester United anymore. That we are no longer an attractive destination. That players would rather go to Manchester City or Liverpool or other clubs. Signing someone like Rodrygo would challenge that narrative. Second, it would be a statement to our own fans. It would show that the club is ambitious, that we are backing the manager with quality signings, that we are serious about competing for trophies. After some disappointing years, fans need to see that ambition and investment. Third, it would raise the level of our squad significantly. Having a player of Rodrygo's quality would make us more competitive in every competition. It would give us a better chance of finishing in the top 4. It would improve our chances in cup competitions. It would make us more dangerous in Europe. Fourth, it could have a domino effect on other transfers. If top players see that Manchester United are signing talents like Rodrygo, they might be more interested in joining themselves. Success breeds success. Ambition attracts ambition. One big signing can lead to others. Fifth, it would give the manager more options tactically. With a player as versatile as Rodrygo, we could play different formations and systems. We could adapt to different opponents. We could change our approach during games. That tactical flexibility is incredibly valuable. But we also need to be realistic. Signing Rodrygo alone would not solve all our problems. We still need to strengthen other areas of the squad. We still need to work on our defensive organization. We still need to develop a clear playing style and identity. One player, no matter how good, is not a magic solution. However, it would be a major step in the right direction. It would be progress. It would be evidence that we are building something. And right now, that is what Manchester United fans want to see more than anything else. The financial aspects of the deal. Let us talk money for a minute, because transfers are as much about finance as they are about football. Real Madrid want €100 million for Rodrygo. That works out to roughly £85 million at current exchange rates. That is a massive amount of money by any standard. It would make him one of the most expensive signings in Manchester United's history. Manchester United are reportedly willing to pay €80 million, which is about £68 million. Still a huge sum, but about £17 million less than Real Madrid's asking price. How do these numbers compare to other recent transfers? Well, let us put it in context. Manchester United paid £85 million for Harry Maguire in 2019. We paid £73 million for Jadon Sancho in 2021. We paid £86 million for Antony in 2022. So paying around £70 to £85 million for Rodrygo would be consistent with what United have paid for other attacking players in recent years. The difference is that Rodrygo has a much better track record than some of those other signings. He has proven himself at Real Madrid. He has won major trophies. He has performed in the biggest games. The risk is lower because we know exactly what we are getting. But of course, spending that much money on one player has implications. It affects how much we can spend on other positions. If we spend £80 million on Rodrygo, do we still have enough budget to sign a midfielder, a defender, or a striker if we need those positions strengthened too? These are the difficult decisions that the club's hierarchy need to make. They need to balance investing in quality with managing the overall squad budget. They need to make sure they are getting value for money while also building a team capable of competing at the highest level. There are also wage considerations. A player of Rodrygo's quality would expect a high salary. Reports suggest that top players at Manchester United earn between £200,000 and £350,000 per week. Rodrygo would likely command wages somewhere in that range, possibly toward the higher end given his achievements and the competition from other clubs. These wage commitments add up over the length of a contract. If Rodrygo signs a 5-year contract at £300,000 per week, that is £78 million in wages alone over the life of the contract. Add that to the £80 million transfer fee, and you're looking at a total investment of around £160 million over 5 years. Is that worth it for a player of Rodrygo's quality? Many would argue yes. Top players cost top money. If you want to compete with the best, you need to invest in the best. And Rodrygo is absolutely in that category of elite players. The financial aspects also depend on what Manchester United can do with player sales. If we can sell some players who are not in our plans, that generates funds that can be put toward new signings. If we can move on high earners who are not contributing enough, that frees up wages for new arrivals. This is all part of the complex puzzle that football clubs need to solve in the modern transfer market. It is not just about finding good players. It is about making the numbers work within financial fair play regulations, within budget constraints, and within the club's overall financial strategy. How Rodrygo compares to other potential targets. Manchester United are always linked with multiple players during the transfer window. So how does Rodrygo compare to other wingers we might be targeting? One name that gets mentioned often is Michael Olise from Crystal Palace. He is a talented young winger who had a great season in the Premier League. He is younger than Rodrygo and would probably cost less money. The advantage of signing Olise would be that he is already familiar with English football. There would be no adaptation period. However, Rodrygo has achieved far more in his career. He has won Champions League titles. He has played for one of the biggest clubs in the world. He has proven himself at the very highest level. Olise is talented but still has a lot to prove. If Manchester United want a guaranteed quality player who can make an immediate impact, Rodrygo is the safer choice. Another player linked with United is Jadon Sancho, who we actually already own but who spent time on loan at Borussia Dortmund. Sancho has incredible talent but has struggled to consistently show it at Manchester United. Would we be better off keeping Sancho and investing that £80 million elsewhere? That is a tough question. Sancho clearly has quality, but for whatever reason, it has not worked out at United so far. Sometimes a fresh start with a new player is better than trying to fix a situation that is not working. Rodrygo would bring fresh energy and proven success, which might be exactly what we need. There are also other established stars like Rafael Leo at AC Milan or Kvicha Kvaratskhelia at Napoli who get linked with big moves. These are excellent players in their own right, but they come with their own price tags and complications. Rodrygo has the advantage of seemingly being available if the price is right, which is not always the case with every target. The truth is that there are many talented wingers in world football right now. Manchester United have options. But Rodrygo stands out because of his age, his experience, his trophy cabinet, and his proven ability to perform in the biggest matches. That combination is rare and valuable. What Rodrygo himself has said. Unfortunately, Rodrygo has been quite quiet publicly about his future. He has not done interviews talking about wanting to leave Real Madrid or about being interested in joining Manchester United. This is typical for players in his situation. They do not want to cause problems or burn bridges while they are still under contract. However, actions sometimes speak louder than words. The fact that Rodrygo is reportedly planning to meet with Xabi Alonso to discuss his future tells us something. It suggests he is not entirely happy with his current situation. It suggests he wants clarity about his role. It suggests he is at least open to the possibility of a change if his situation does not improve. Players at this level are ambitious. They want to play regularly. They want to feel valued. They want to be important to their team. If Rodrygo feels like he is just a rotation option at Real Madrid, if he feels like he is never going to be the first choice, then naturally he would consider other opportunities. Manchester United can offer him something that Real Madrid might not be able to guarantee: a central role in the team. We can offer him the chance to be one of our key players, someone the team is built around, someone who plays every big game. For a player at his stage of his career, that could be very appealing. The meeting with Xabi Alonso will be crucial. If Alonso tells Rodrygo that he is an important part of his plans, that he will get plenty of playing time, that there is a clear role for him in the team, then maybe Rodrygo decides to stay and fight for his place. But if Alonso cannot give him those assurances, If he tells Rodrygo that Vinicius Jr. is the undisputed first choice on the left wing and that Rodrygo will have to accept a squad role, then the door opens for a transfer. That is when Manchester United can really make their move. The realistic timeline for this transfer. So when could this actually happen? What is the realistic timeline for Rodrygo potentially joining Manchester United? Transfer windows follow certain patterns. The summer window typically sees most activity in July and August, with some deals getting done in June if clubs are particularly well organized. Big deals like this one often take weeks or even months to negotiate. Right now, we are in mid-November 2025, which is during the season. The next transfer window will be in January 2026, which is the winter window. This window is traditionally quieter than the summer, with fewer big money moves. Clubs are often reluctant to sell key players mid-season. However, January deals do happen, especially when all parties are motivated. If Rodrygo is not getting playing time and wants to leave, if Real Madrid are willing to sell, and if Manchester United are ready to pay, then a January deal is possible. The more likely scenario is that this gets resolved in the summer window of 2026. That gives everyone more time to think, to negotiate, and to plan. It allows Rodrygo to finish the season at Real Madrid. It allows United to properly assess their squad and decide exactly what they need. It allows for a more measured approach rather than a rushed mid-season deal. During the January window, clubs often start laying the groundwork for summer deals. They have preliminary conversations. They gauge interest. They start negotiating rough terms. Then when the summer window opens, they can move quickly because the groundwork is already done. We might see that pattern here. United might continue their interest through the rest of this season, maintain contact with Real Madrid, speak to Rodrygo's representatives, and then make a formal move when the summer window opens. One thing that could accelerate the timeline is if Rodrygo's situation at Real Madrid becomes untenable. If he is completely frozen out of the team, if it becomes obvious he has no future there, then both the player and the club might push for a January move just to resolve the situation. Whatever the timeline, these things rarely happen overnight. Patience is required from everyone involved, including fans. Big transfers are complicated. There are many details to work out. But if it happens, it will be worth the wait. What United fans should be thinking. As Manchester United supporters, how should we be feeling about this potential transfer? What should our expectations be? First, let us remember to stay level-headed. Transfer rumors are everywhere in football. Not every player we get linked with actually joins. Not every deal that seems close actually happens. We have been disappointed before by transfers that looked certain but fell through. So while it is fine to get excited about the possibility of signing Rodrygo, we should not get ahead of ourselves. Until he signs a contract and holds up a United shirt at Old Trafford, nothing is certain. Things can change quickly in football. Second, we should recognize that this would be a smart signing if it happens. Rodrygo fits the profile of what we need. He would improve our squad. He would give us more quality and depth in attack. The concerns about the price are valid, but quality costs money. If we want to compete with the best, we need to invest in the best. Third, we should keep in mind that one player does not fix everything. Even if we sign Rodrygo, we still have work to do in other areas of the squad. We still need to develop a clear playing style. We still need to improve our consistency. Building a successful team takes time and multiple good decisions, not just one big signing. Fourth, we should support whoever ends up wearing the United shirt. If Rodrygo comes, he deserves our backing. If this deal does not happen and we sign someone else instead, they deserve our support too. Being a United fan means getting behind the team, whoever that team consists of. Fifth, we should appreciate that the club seems to be thinking big again. Whether or not this specific deal happens, the fact that we are being linked with players like Rodrygo shows ambition. It shows that United still have pulling power. It shows that we are aiming high rather than settling for mediocrity. The past few years have been frustrating for United fans. We have not been at the level we expect. We have not competed for the biggest trophies. We have made transfer decisions that did not work out. But the only way forward is to keep trying, keep investing, keep building. If Rodrygo becomes part of that building process, fantastic. If not, we move on to the next target and keep pushing to improve the team. That is what big clubs do. They do not give up. They do not settle. They keep striving for excellence. The broader context of United's transfer strategy. This potential Rodrygo transfer does not exist in isolation. It is part of a broader transfer strategy that Manchester United seem to be following. Over the past few years, United have been criticized for having no clear transfer strategy. We have signed players who do not fit together. We have paid over the odds for players who do not work out. We have lacked a coherent vision for what we are trying to build. More recently, there seem to be signs of improvement in this area. The club seems to be targeting younger players with high potential rather than older players at the end of their careers. They seem to be looking for players who fit a certain profile, technically gifted, versatile, experienced in top competitions. Rodrygo fits that profile perfectly. At 24, he is young enough to improve further but experienced enough to make an immediate impact. He is versatile enough to play multiple positions. He has proven himself in the Champions League and La Liga. He knows what it takes to win. If United can build a squad full of players with these characteristics, we will be in a much better position. We need a core of top-quality players in their mid-20s who can form the spine of the team for the next 5 or 6 years. Rodrygo could be a key part of that core. The strategy also seems to involve being willing to spend big money on the right players rather than making lots of cheaper signings. One world-class player can transform a team more than 3 or 4 decent players. Quality over quantity. That seems to be the approach, and Rodrygo would fit that approach. Of course, transfer strategy also needs to account for financial fair play regulations, wage structures, and squad balance. You cannot just buy whoever you want without considering the implications. But within those constraints, United seem to be targeting the right type of player, and Rodrygo is definitely the right type. The competition for Rodrygo's signature. We mentioned earlier that other clubs are interested in Rodrygo, but let us dig deeper into what that competition means for Manchester United's chances. Arsenal are reportedly interested. They have been building an exciting young team under Mikel Arteta and have been competing at the top of the Premier League. They can offer Rodrygo regular football and a chance to compete for the title. That is attractive. Liverpool are also linked with him. They are another club with a great history and tradition. They play exciting attacking football under their manager. They compete in the Champions League regularly. They are a serious option for any player. Manchester City always seem to be in the mix for top players. They have been the dominant force in English football recently. They win trophies. They are backed by huge resources. Any player would be tempted by the chance to join City. Chelsea have also shown interest apparently. They have spent enormous amounts of money on young talent in recent years. They are based in London, which some players prefer. They are rebuilding and could offer Rodrygo an important role. So United are up against serious competition. This is not going to be easy. We cannot just assume that Rodrygo will choose us over these other options. What can United offer that these other clubs cannot? Well, we are still one of the biggest clubs in the world by reputation and history. We have a massive global fan base. We have Old Trafford, one of the most iconic stadiums in football. We have a tradition of attacking football and developing attacking players. We can also offer Rodrygo a central role in our rebuild. At Manchester City, for example, he would be competing with Phil Foden, Jack Grealish, and other established stars. At United, he could potentially be the main man, the player everything is built around. That matters to ambitious players. But we need to be honest. Some of these other clubs are in better shape than United right now. They are winning more. They are playing better football. They are more stable. Rodrygo will weigh all these factors when making his decision. This is why United need to sell the vision. We need to show him our plans for the future. We need to convince him that United are on the way back up, that this is an exciting project to be part of, that he can be a key part of our return to the top. If we can do that, we have a chance. Historical context. United's track record with Brazilian players. Manchester United have an interesting history with Brazilian players. Some have been huge successes. Others have not worked out so well. Let us look at that track record, because it might give us clues about how Rodrygo could fare.